What is going on, everybody? ZyoniK here, and in today's video we're going to be diving into a battle showcase utilizing a team that is pretty standard that I think a lot of you guys could give a try. There's going to be a Venusaur Swampert core and a Snorlax there with Earthquake, something a bit different. Typically we see the Body Slam superpower combo, but today it's going to be Earthquake, and I think that could come in clutch against a lot of the Lanturns that have risen up to the Ultra League. So Venusaur Swampert, obviously Community Day moves there of Hydro Cannon and Frenzy Plant. So I hope you guys enjoy. Shout out to Cool23Boy23 for sharing these battles with us. Let's go ahead and get right into it. All right, getting into the first battle. This is going to be a straight battle submission as well, so not a highlight. We're going to be seeing direct sets right here. As we go ahead and get into the first game. And what I want to see is what this Snorlax with Earthquake can do. I've used a Venusaur myself, as we do see a very tough lead here with Shadow Alolan Sandslash, and we will see the Snorlax swap in right away. This is the kind of swap in that you want to have. Something thick that can soak a lot of damage, as the Shadow Alolan Sandslash is looking to go for Drill Run right here. And we will see a Lantern swap in. It kind of just looks like a straight up Great League team, right? Alolan Sandslash and Lantern, but this is where the Earthquake can come in clutch here against the Lantern, as it does land for a lot of super effective damage. Now, because we are in the Ultra League, a lot of stuff won't be one-shotting, but what is cool is Snorlax is able to get to a Body Slam right here. It might just force switch advantage or get a shield, which they do get, and now Lantern is looking to fire back. Thunderbolt, I don't even think KOs, as they decide to let it go, and it's actually going to be a Surf, so they're going to have to throw a back-to-back Surf, and they could easily come in and farm down. Whether they want to farm down with, they're going to look to go for the 1-0 shields, as they decide to stop the Surf right there, and they do get to the Body Slam in time. This is going to be crucial for this battle right here. This decision of double shielding is what's going to make or break, and Snorlax as well is forcing the energy here from Lantern. Otherwise they would have been farmed down. Then they decide to double shield. All shields are down, as we will see Snorlax completely flip it with Lick, and then we do see Shadow Sandslash come in. Swampert obviously going to be loving life right here, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see a second water on the backline, whether that's Feraligatr or Poliwrath, as Swampert right here is sitting very cozy, able to go for the Hydro Cannon, and this is just going to do a lot of damage. You don't need to throw the Earthquake when Hydro Cannon does that much. Now, obviously, all shields are down, so both trainers here are going to be throwing the hardest hitting moves possible, and we might see a swap out to try to potentially catch the charge move, as here it comes. Swamp, there it is, and it's going to be Feraligatr in the back. Double water made a lot of sense. If you see the Lantern Snorlax core, or Shadow Feraligatr, Shadow Alolan Sandslash Lantern core, and Venusaur now going to come in to make quick work of this Feraligatr, then a second water does make sense, right? With the Shadow Feraligatr, or maybe even Poliwrath, having access to those Ice-type charge moves of Ice Beam and Icy Wind, as they will get the aggressive farm down, so good game. Obviously, Snorlax there mid-game, huge flip on with the Earthquake, and then the Body Slam and Lick damage, so good battle right there. As we go ahead and move into the next one, we can see this trainer is actually exactly where I'm at, 2400s. So this is cool to see that I might actually be able to face off against Cool23Boy23 in this meta, as we will see the Venusaur into Tentacruel on the lead. Now, they do have multiple answers for this. Venusaur firstly with the Vine Whip Frenzy Plant, Earthquake there on Snorlax, and the Earthquake on the Swampert, as they decide to go for the charge move here. Hopefully it's just an Acid Spray. Yeah, it is going to be an Acid Spray. They can go ahead and swap out. Oh, they are going to swap out. I thought they were going to throw Frenzy Plant first and then swap out, but this is a team read that Cool Boy is looking to do here. Cool23Boy23, I should say, is looking to do. He might be reading that there is a second water in the back. Typically, when you see a Tentacruel on a team, especially on the lead, there could very well be a second water paired with it, just because Tentacruel tries to handle a lot of those grass-type Pokemon, as we will see Snorlax look to go for this sneaky Earthquake right here. And is this going to be enough to one-shot? I imagine not, but yeah, okay, it's not going to be enough. Venusaur now Might try to go for charge attack priority here with Frenzy Plant. Yeah, they are going for it. This is huge. The Poliwrath was able to get an aggressive farm down, but now it's going to be forced to shield, and it doesn't. They decide to let it go, and now we will see the Swampert look to swap in right away. What could be Pokemon number 3, as we do see the Tentacruel swap back in. Final Pokemon is actually going to be Greedent, so this game is not over. We'll have to see if this Greedent is rocking Trailblaze or if they have the Body Slam Crunch combination, as Swampert is going to go ahead and respect it and shield, and it is just going to be a Body Slam. Very fearful of the obvious Trailblaze potential, as they are now going to be firing off a couple Hydro Cannons. But Greedent, extremely bulky, should be able to survive 2 or 3 of these. And I think the third one is where things get a bit dicey, as they decide to start shielding. Now, 1-to-1 shields here. Greedent, though, if you guys think Mudshot and Hydro Cannon is spammy, Greedent is on a whole nother level. As it is a Trailblaze. Greedent, they were correct in fearing the potential charge move as they go ahead and go for Hydro Cannon. You can see them frantically thinking in their head how they're going to play this out. They want to catch the charge move, but unfortunately, this Greedent is going to be able to throw another one right away as Trailblaze. Boom! One-shots the Swampert. Venusaur now going to be coming in, looking to load up as much as possible. And they gotta hope that they can KO the Tentacruel with the Frenzy Plant, but I don't think with the remaining health that they're going to be able to do that. They have to throw Frenzy Plant before the Body Slam, and they do on the charge attack priority. Frenzy Plant will be enough to KO the Greedent, but that Tentacruel lurking in the back, how much health does it have remaining? It's got way too much. Frenzy Plant is only neutral, and unfortunately, this Venusaur is not going to be able to overcome, as the Tentacruel can survive and Poison Jab down, and that is going to be a good game. Very well played. Man, those Greedents, I'm telling you. Greedent is the new Galarian Stunfisk for me. If you guys remember way back in the day when Galarian Stunfisk was like top meta everywhere, I despised the mirror. And now I just really don't like Greedent spam. I'm probably going to have to join Team Greedent so that I can overcome its spam, but then I might just face off into the mirrors, and that could be a bit dicey. But you just go Body Slam spam there, right? As we will be getting into the next battle here shortly. Now, what I like about this team is not only its strength that it's showing in this meta, but also the ease of access that I think a lot of you guys have. Venusaur and Swampert and Snorlax are very common Pokemon that I think a lot of trainers have access to or could easily get from friends. As we do see another Tentacruel on the lead. Will they play it the same? As we do see them decide to stay in. I think this is where a key Frenzy Plant needs to be thrown before they swap out, because that added damage will definitely start to add up as they decide to no-shield the Acid Spray right here. They actually decide to play it exactly the same. I think this is a different trainer though, so the opponent is deciding to stay in on this one instead of coming in right away with Poliwrath. So the Acid Spray will land. Now let's see what decides to come in. It's going to be another Greedent. So it looks like the Tentacruel Greedent combination is starting to overtake the meta a bit. Maybe you guys have seen the same, but Body Slam spam is going to be pretty deadly because of the Acid Spray debuff. Now, Snorlax is going to be able to answer right back, but unfortunately, Snorlax's Body Slams are just not going to be doing enough damage here. The Greedent is almost as tanky. I don't know actually who has a better stat spread, but when you consider the Acid Spray debuff, obviously Snorlax is going to be losing this one as they decide to let it go. And if I was Greedent right here, I'd be going for an aggressive Mudshot farm down, and that is what they're looking to do. And Greedent, oh my gosh, what a nightmare Pokemon to deal with. Frenzy Plant, going to be thrown right away. This Venusaur just wants to get rid of Greedent. That's obviously a huge Pokemon for them to try to overcome, as they aren't able to one-shot it there with Frenzy Plant. And Greedent is just smiling, as it's going to be able to throw back-to-back Body Slams here, and putting a lot of pressure now on Venusaur's health, as they decide to throw, and Venusaur is going to have to shield, but they decide not to, fully entrusting in Swampert to potentially win this game, as Body Slam is not enough to KO. They do get the farm down, and now we're going to see that Tentacruel likely come back in. And it does. We see the swap out into Tentacruel. And final Pokemon is Shadow Alolan Sandslash. Something completely different to Poliwrath. And Swampert now has an opportunity to win this game. Earthquake is a one-shot. Now, there are 2 shields on both sides. And this is going to be a guessing game. But Swampert can still hit very hard with Hydro Cannon. I think that's going to be the play. Just go straight Hydro Cannons right here as the opponent decides to shield. They need to build back up to Earthquake, which they do. And now if I was Shadow Alolan Sandslash, I would be fearing the Earthquake. If I was keeping track of the count, they let it go. Oh my goodness, what a call. As Swampert now is going to be giving up the final shield of this game. Remember, Venusaur is extremely weak, but it does have Frenzy Plant. Tentacruel is still in the back. Swampert's going to go ahead and throw. Switch Clock is coming back up. Do we see a fast swap into the Frenzy Plant throw to get rid of the A-Slash? Yes, we do, and they are able to execute his Frenzy Plant. Now is going to be landing, KOing the Shadow Alolan Sandslash. Tentacruel looking to come in, but can it fast move down in time? No, it cannot. Venusaur hangs on. Frenzy Plant is going to do just enough damage, and now it's going to be between Scald and actually I think Hydro Cannon is going to be enough. It's going to be a race. Scald is going to be thrown here, but I think Swampert is bulky enough to be able to survive. And yes, it does. Beautiful. Swampert now can go for the Hydro Cannon. And talk about a redemption arc. Losing to the Tentacruel Greedent Core in the previous matchup, but in this game, able to overcome because of the Shadow Alolan Sandslash in the back. Good battle. All right. Moving into the next one. Yeah, this is just straight battle submission. This is cool. Interesting fit, if we talk about it. It's the beach vibes there with the Palossand straw hat and the Lapras Pikachu surfing t-shirt. I like it. Personally, oh, and then we got, got the Piplup costume on the other side. We got Shadow Swampert here on the lead. Big lead win here for Cool 23 Boy 23 as we do see a Trevenant. Oh no. What was that? Okay. Right. For the sake of keeping this trainer's battle submission private, I'm gonna hide whatever that was. I didn't see, but in post-editing, I'm gonna hide it. Something popped up. You guys won't see it. I'm just marking the time. You guys won't see it, but something popped up there, and I'm not sure what that was. It looked to be some type of notification maybe for them, so we're just gonna go ahead and just hide that for them as Seed Bomb now is gonna be landing. Snorlax though gonna be able to go for an aggressive farm down here with Lick and maintain switch advantage, and this is why Snorlax can be very strong in this meta, as a lot of ghost type Pokemon are out there, and be able to come out of here with energy is going to be crucial for this game, as the Shadow Swampert is looking to go for a Hydro Cannon, but not before double Body Slam can be thrown, as Snorlax is able to go for the back-to-back. First one does land, second one able to get to it just in time, and this is where the Swampert might consider shielding, but if they are hard losing the lead, they just let it go, and now we're going to see that Hydro Cannon come through, and it's all going to come down to what is Pokemon number 3. We've seen the Trevenant, we've seen the Swampert, maybe it's Double Grass, maybe there's a Flyer in the back, who knows? Venusaur now looking to come in, and it's going to be a Flyer. It's a Fire Flyer at that, as Shadow Charizard is coming in. Now, don't count Charizard out. Obviously, Swampert needs to get to 3 Hydro Cannons in order to win this game, or actually knock out the Shadow Charizard. But Shadow Charizard can hit incredibly hard with Blast Burn. So what they actually need to do is potentially shield, as they decide to let it go, and Blast Burn will land. And now it's going to be a race. They have to shield this Dragon Claw, and hopefully the Swampert can get to the 2 Hydro Cannons in time, as Charizard is out of energy. Swampert, though, I think 1 or 2 fast moves away there from another Hydro Cannon, as they do get the final shield. It's 2. 1, 2. Oh, Swampert barely is able to survive, and you can see the excitement on the swirls right there. Hydro Cannon, boom, able to knock out Venusaur, swapping right back in, and that is going to be a good game, very well played. All right, now looking back at that, why did I say Flyer? I said it was either Double Grass or maybe a Flyer. If you take a look at Swampert's weakness, right, is going to be Grass, you need answers to that. Now, they soft swapped in a neutral matchup. That is going to be the Trevenant. So, obviously, they need a harder matchup. Maybe Charizard, maybe Dragonite. Some type of Flyer in the back would do very well, and that's exactly what we saw. All right, moving to the next battle. Feraligatr here on the lead. We do see a swap out into Annihilape, a very strong Pokemon for this meta. And Venusaur in a very good position to be core breaking because of how strong they are against the water typing as well as resisting counter. Now, they can't necessarily swap out into anything. Venusaur is their best matchup, but what they want to look to do is maintain this switch advantage, as we will see an Ice Punch be thrown. So the Annihilape does have Ice Punch. That is good information to have because obviously it will be doing super effective damage. As Venusaur decides to go for the Frenzy Play, they go ahead and swap into the Snorlax. This is a beautiful call right here. They can do super effective damage with Lick because of that added Ghost typing, and the Venusaur maintains switch advantage against Feraligatr. It's now hidden in the back and it can easily align to it. Feraligatr as well, only doing resisted damage with Shadow Claw, where it's going to have to throw 2 Hydro Cannons in order to get rid of Snorlax, and by that time, we're probably going to be seeing double Body Slam here get Feraligatr very low. As the Hydro Cannon will connect, yes, 2 will definitely be needed, and we will see the Body Slam now come through, and Snorlax in a great position right here to get the final shield of this game from the opponent as they decide to swap into Skeledurs, and this is a dangerous call for the Skeledurs because the Snorlax has access to Earthquake. Oh, buckle up, everyone. Boom! Oh, we can't do a full boom right there, but able to land it, and that is huge. Swampert now can come in and farm down, and the Skeledurs just saw the writing on the wall. Good game. All right. Good set right there. I'm going to go ahead and fast forward a bit into the second set. There we go. Oh, did they hit Veteran? No, they didn't hit Veteran on that one. Nope. And then we'll go ahead and go into the next one. All right. Let's fast forward a bit. Here we go. Venusaur versus Lantern. Really positive lead right here. We're going to see that Lantern swap out, and we do see a Greedent. Surprise, surprise. The little chipmunk comes in as Greedent going to go ahead and does what it does best. Do what it does best. It's going to slam, all right? It's going to slam as the Frenzy Plants are going to be coming through, but at some point, they need to swap into Snorlax in order to maintain the Venusaur. Actually, no, they still have Swampert for Lantern, so this is still an okay position to be in if you are this trainer, because obviously Frenzy Plant's going to be very hard-hitting as a neutral charge move here, and the Greedent decides to shield as they go ahead and go for the back-to-back Frenzy Plants. Now, this Greedent is going to get considerably low as they now decide to swap into Snorlax, maintaining switch advantage, maintaining 2-to-1 shields. And this is looking to be a very good play here for Cool 23 Boy 23, as they keep Venusaur pretty healthy in the back, easily able to survive a Surf or Thunderbolt, and then also have Swampert as well. Now, Greedent is going to try to answer back, but ultimately, this is going to be, oh, Mandibuzz swaps in. Okay, so they have to go for only Body Slams in this position. Unfortunately, the Earthquake is not going to be doing anything for this matchup. And unfortunately, Mandibuzz is also going to be resisting Lick. Now, Dark Pulse here does a good amount of damage, but they are in a very good position, as the Greedent is relatively low, has a little bit of energy. Lantern's still in the back, which they do have 2 counters for. And the Snorlax is going to be able to soften up this Mandibuzz, and they can come in with the Swampert in order to get rid of it as Hydro Cannons. 2 Hydro Cannons will probably be enough, maybe 1 if this next Body Slam connects, but unfortunately I don't think it's... Actually, no, it might. Dark Pulse here I don't think is going to be enough to KO. Yeah, Snorlax able to survive, and they will be able to go for another Body Slam. And this is the kind of chip damage that you need for this matchup so that a Hydro Cannon can be enough to KO, and I think that's going to be enough right there. Looking at the health remaining, and they unfortunately can't get to the next Body Slam, but Swampert now going to be coming in, and things are looking very good. They just have to pilot this endgame very carefully because Mandibuzz is loading on energy. Greedent has a little bit of energy. We do see a Lantern in the back, which is obviously no energy, but still, they got to be very careful as the Swampert decides to no-shield Dark Pulse. And now, do we see a swap out? No, we don't see a swap out by the opponent. The Hydro Cannon here is going to be able to KO if the Mandibuzz does not shield, and it does let it go. We are off to the races now as Greedent is likely going to come in. No, it's going to be the Lantern here, so maybe the opponent hoping to catch an Earthquake, and they do! The opponent catches the Earthquake on the Greedent, but they say, okay, I'll just boom you. Boom, see ya, and then I'll come in with this Venusaur, but they actually decide to stay in and look to go for Earthquake here, so putting themselves into a win-win condition, as Surf is not going to be enough to KO, Spark is not going to be enough damage to farm down, and Earthquake here is going to be forcing the final shield. If it gets shielded, we see a swap out into the Venusaur right away, so that Frenzy Plant can make quick work of it, and that is going to be a good game, very well played. That was a good battle right there. Very well composed by Cool23Boy23 in order to not only maintain positive switch advantage, but utilize the Pokemon in the right situation and know the win cons. And I think that's really important for you guys to understand, is the win con at the end there was just throwing straight Earthquakes. You don't want to try to outplay your opponent by throwing a Hydro Cannon. You have a Venusaur, you have a Swampert. Just go 2 Earthquakes and a Frenzy Plant, and that's enough, right? One of them will land, as we will see Shadow Alolan Sandslash once again on the lead, so we're going to see that Snorlax swap in. Now, Charizard decides to swap in, and this is an interesting battle we are about to see, because Blast Burn will do a lot, but Snorlax with Lick and Body Slam is going to be answering right back, as they do get shield baited with Dragon Claw. 2 Body Slams is going to be enough to KO. Actually, 1 Body Slam might be enough to KO with the added Lick damage. As the opponent decides to shield, they're going to go ahead and go for the second one now, and this is where Charizard has to be very careful, because they're going to be forced to double shield, but they don't. Snorlax is going to easily take switch advantage now, but they decide to let it go. Calling, actually Blast Burn will land. No, it's calling the Dragon Claw. That's a huge call. They maintain switch advantage. They maintain even shields. This is looking beautiful. Sandslash now coming in, and the Snorlax is going to start rumbling the earth, as if this Ice Punch does not KO, we're going to see an Earthquake land. And it is going to be the Drill Run, so that's unfortunate. Oh, man. All right. Swampert now going to come in, and we will see a Shadow Dragonite in the back. Shadow Dragonite, a very tough Pokemon for this team to deal with, but ultimately Shadow Dragonite is also very glassy. Hydro Cannon, as you guys can see, is doing enough. Venusaur, Frenzy Plant is going to do enough. Maybe even Sludge Bomb, but you have to start considering the energy cost there. That Frenzy Plant, the difference between Frenzy Plant and Sludge Bomb, which is going to be an extra fast move. So they actually decide to go for the Sludge Bomb here to guarantee the knockout and forcing the final shield of this game. But no, they decided to let it go. Dragonite goes down. Sandslash is coming in. Frenzy Plant is going to be able to land. And this game is going to come down to the wire, as Alolan Sandslash is praying to get enough energy to be able to KO the Swampert. It's going to need 2 Ice Punches and a Drill Run. It's going to need 3 charge moves, ultimately, as they decide to no-shield the Ice Punch. Maybe just 3 Ice Punches. Yeah, 3 Ice Punches is going to be enough, and Swampert here needs 2 Hydro Cannons. And taking a look at the current energy, I think Swampert's going to be losing this one, unfortunately. Yeah, they lose it. So that is going to be a good game. Shadow Alolan Sandslash got way too much energy there to squeak through in the end game, and that is going to be a good battle. Very well played. All right. Yeah, that was a good one. Close one, right? Just one more fast move, and they were able to throw the back-to-back. Now, obviously, with a back-to-back, your opponent gets a fast move or 2 through as well. So that was still an extremely close battle. All right, we have Venusaur versus Feraligatr. Very good lead right here for them, as we will see them decide to stay in. Why are they staying in? There's gotta be a second water in the back. Or a fairy, right? Something weak to the poison typing here on Venusaur. So they decide to shield, and clearly they are weak to Venusaur, as they decide to no shield the Crunch. That's going to do a good amount of damage, and now this Venusaur is in a bit of trouble as they let the charge move go through. They're going to have to shield here, but Feraligatr is in a position where they could actually farm down with Shadow Claw, as we do see a swap out into Magnezone, and the Swampert now going to come in, and this is a beautiful situation to be in if you are Swampert. You can easily no-shield the Wild Charge or Mirror Shot, which is going to be Wild Charge, and then the Hydro Cannon here is going to hit like a truck, so you can absolutely KO after that Wild Charge debuff. And it would be crazy to see a shield here. Yeah, we don't see a shield. We're probably going to see the Feraligatr look to come in. But Swampert could... Actually, he could just throw the Hydro Cannon. I think going for the Earthquake might be a bit dicey. Yeah, they're going to throw the Hydro Cannon. This is going to do enough chip damage to threaten that final shield from the opponent. If they decide to let it go, which they do, maybe Mudshot knocks them out. But no, it's going to be able to hang on as they decide to let this go. Now, what? It's going to be Greedent in the back. Be a Greedent. I don't know why. No, it's going to be Annihilate in the back. So they were core broken by the typings, right? Grass into water and poison into fighting, which is actually going to be really nice as the Earthquake here is going to be landing. The opponent doesn't know it's coming and boom, nearly one-shots. As you guys are going to see that Snorlax is an Annihilate counter confirmed. As we will see the Ice Punch connect, but it's not going to be enough. Get out of here, Annihilate. And that is going to be a good game, very well played. Yeah, if I was the opponent right there, right, you're seeing the charge move be thrown, you're thinking Superpower or Body Slam. So those are two charge moves you can easily let go through, which is why the Earthquake is so subtle. And it's actually being very beneficial for these matchups. All right, we're going to be moving into the next battle here. I think we have maybe 2 more left by the looks of my remaining time on the video clip. As maybe I'll just fast forward a bit. Here we go. All right, Venusaur into Poliwrath. Okay, very good lead right here as we do see a Steelix swap in. Now they can easily soften the Steelix up by going for the Frenzy Plant, and then we might just see the Snorlax come in. I wouldn't be surprised if Swampert comes in either. Let's see what this trainer decides to do. The opponent is overloading on energy, maybe looking to go for an Earthquake as they decide to let this go. And it is going to be Psychic Fang. So now they're going to swap out into the Swampert here, hoping to get to a Hydro Cannon. But they're going to be in a very tough position where the Steelix is going to be able to debuff this Swampert to the point where Poliwrath could easily farm down and pretty aggressively. And they're going to look to go for Hydro Cannon here on charge attack priority. What we got to hope is that the Poliwrath doesn't get too much energy, because obviously an Icy Wind is going to be doing super effective damage against the Venusaur, but they're going to go ahead and go for Hydro Cannon as a shield bait. The opponent obviously knows Earthquake is a threat, or Sludge Wave, as they decide to actually no shield right there. That is unfortunate as they go for the Earthquake now. This is probably going to be shielded. I'd be surprised if the opponent lets this go through. No, they do. Okay, they're fully entrusting in Pokemon number 3 to win this game. So what could it be? They go for the Frenzy Plant right away. Poliwrath losing the charge attack priority as they decided to go for the fast move instead. And now they get the shield. And Venusaur is in a beautiful position to easily shield this charge move. And it's all going to come down to Pokemon number 3. Snorlax versus what? It's going to be back-to-back Icy Winds, and this is why the Poliwrath was caught off guard with that Frenzy Plant. As they decide to let the next one go through, they counter swap, and it's going to be a Galarian Stunfisk. Here we go. Earthquake, everyone, the Rumble. Let's see what the opponent decides to throw, as Snorlax will be giving up the final shield of this game, stopping the Earthquake. And now, if you're Galarian Stunfisk, you have to fear the Superpower. But you know what is a superpower? Being able to make the earth rock, as the Earthquake will be landing for... That was so not a one-shot. It's about the same bulk, right, as the Lantern, right? They're both XLs. Snorlax able to easily survive an Earthquake, and this is where the lick damage is starting to add up. The opponent has a potential swap out coming up, but Snorlax can easily go for body slams now. Even though it's resisted, it's going to be able to do enough damage, and they're going to go ahead and counter swap and catch the charge move. Venusaur able to soak this next charge move, and it is going to be the Earthquake. So Snorlax can now fast move down both Galarian Stunfisk and the Poliwrath, and that is going to be a good game, very well played. What a beautiful set of battles right there as we move into the final game. All right, quick cue as well. You'll love to see it. As we have How many kilometers? All right. Venusaur versus Galarian Weezing. Now, this is a Pokemon that is tough to face off against, as it does have access to very hard-hitting charge moves like Overheat, and we do see a swap out into Ferrothorn. Talk about a spicy team from the opponent's side, and a steep investment as well, as we will see the Sludge Bomb here land, but it's unfortunately gonna be resisted. And Sludge Bomb, if you're taking a look at the typing here, Sludge Bomb is going to be the better call because the Grass Steel, right? And now this is a tough position to be in. Venusaur obviously needs to get rid of Ferrothorn, and they want to maintain switch advantage because the Swampert, ooh, Acid Spray, no shield. That's huge. The Swampert wants to align to the Weezing, as we will see the Power Whip land, but it doesn't do that much damage. So Venusaur's in a very good position right here to just spam Sludge Bombs, and at some point, the Ferrothorn's gonna have to shield. As we will see, no shield right there. They're gonna go ahead and swap out into Snorlax, maintaining the health there on Venusaur, and gonna be able to farm down with Lick. Now, we do see a swap out back into Weezing, but this is where the beauty of Earthquake could come through for one final boom of this game, as Playrough is going to be landing the Earthquake. Come on out. Here we go. They do get to it in time. The opponent knows Superpower and Body Slam, but Earthquake is coming by surprise. Boom! One shots. It survived. Come on. What is this? All right, Brutal Swing, not enough to... Oh, it is enough to KO. Snorlax does go down. All right, we do see Venusaur come back in, and now this is going to be... Yeah, they decide to surrender. Why? Why did they decide to surrender right there? It's because the Ferrothorn was obviously extremely low, and the third Pokemon was extremely weak to Venusaur. Wouldn't be surprised if it was another Swampert. Good game to the opponent, maybe Poliwrath. Good games here to cool 23 Boy 23. This team was very cool, very fun, very accessible. And that's what I like about a lot of teams, myself included. I don't have a lot of XL Pokemon. And Pokemon teams like this, right? Venusaur, Swampert, Core, very traditional, and a Snorlax, which I think a lot of us have, unless you're so brand new to Pokemon Go in general, then the Ultra League might be a bit tough for you. But ultimately, this team looked to be very strong, as they do hit Veteran. And hitting Veteran this time in the season is a huge accomplishment. So congrats there to Cool 23 Boy 23. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. And like always, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.